Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Super Cab. If you're new here, my name's Joe, and I'm currently building a 1979 F350 Super Cab. On this episode, we're going to be installing the classic tube stainless fuel lines and brake lines. In the previous episode, we got the bumper mounted and the hitch mounted and a couple odds and ends on the frame. And yeah, follow along. So far, I got the two rear lines mounted. They seem to fit all right. They take a little bit of tweaking. I still got to put the clip on here, but I got to take this cover off, change this fluid yet, so I didn't do that yet. They seem to fit all right. I also picked up a set of Broncos Graveyards extended rear lines and front lines. They're like half the cost of the Super Cat or the Skyjacker ones, and they seem to fit just as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. I got the long main rear brake line in, and it's hooked up here. It's not clipped in yet. I need to get the clips for it. I have them. I just got to figure out exactly where they go. But it fits okay. I don't think it's perfect, but it was either buy this kit or attempt to bend it myself. And I was trying to bend it myself and go off of the ones I took off, but they were so hacked up and pieced together, it really wasn't worth it. After searching on the internet, I ended up finding Classic Tube actually makes them for the Super Cab, and they were the only ones I could find. They weren't cheap, but it's going to be way nicer than what I could have done trying to bend them. So I got the rear the rear brake line in, and next I'm going to try to get these fuel lines in. The goal here is to get the bed back on. So I want to get everything finished up from the bed back, get the gas tank in, the wiring harness, the brake lines, fuel lines, and everything so I can put the bed on and get it out of my other garage because it's taking up too much space. But these here are the fuel lines. They come with marks where they need to be bent. But like this one here, it said it was to bend it back, but I didn't know how far to bend it back. Luckily, I had a two-wheel drive Super Cab here. With the factory line still on it, so I was able to go out and to compare it. So this one just takes a little bit of bend out. This one I haven't messed with yet, but this is the far rear one. I'm messing around with the fronts a little bit too while I'm at it. These were also got these from Bronco Graveyard. They're the extended lines. Like I said before, they're a lot cheaper than the competitor. I did use the Skyjacker ones on my other truck, and I have no complaints with them, but these seem to be the exact same with a different label on them, so I'm going to go with them. The front line, I don't know if it fits perfect, but we'll make it work. This other side, I think it's going to take some work because I don't think this is the way this is supposed to be routed. This is just setting in the way it was. So I might have to do a little tweaking on that. Hey guys, this is the next day now. I messed around with this rear fuel line a little bit. I got it in there. It doesn't fit amazing, but like I said before, it's way better than I can make it look. I am horrible at bending brake lines and fuel lines and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's not perfect. I end up using, let me just get an example of the clamps. These style clamps. I did buy some plastic ones, but I thought they looked kind of janky, and these ones are stainless, and I kind of like how they look. So I did get the fuel line in there. It's not completely tight. It's just in there and clamped, but not all the way down. But I mean, it's okay. It ain't perfect, but way better than I was going to be able to make it look. And the old stuff, you can see it laying over there, was all junky and nasty, and I couldn't put that back on here. So we got it this far. I might stop there with the lines. I really want to get the bed put on here and get it out of my other garage. I do need to find or come up with what I'm going to do for the rear wiring harness. I have a couple of them, but each one of them is chewed up in its own way. The one I took off that purple truck, if you've seen it in the previous videos, the rear part of it was all cut up so they could use LED lights in the rear lights. The one that came on this actual frame, it's not horrible, but it's got a bunch of cuts and patches, and I don't really like it. And then the one that's on the donor body frame, the rear of it's cut too. So I don't have the connections for the rear where they go to the tail lights. Excuse me. So I got to come up with something. I got a couple feelers out, people looking. I'm not against buying a new wiring harness, but if I can use one that's in working order, that's what I'll do. So stay tuned. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I really want to get the bed on, so you might see the bed get put on here. But overall, the brake line, I think, fits a lot better than the fuel line did, but it is what it is. I also think it's short, the fuel line. I called and talked to them, and they said they're going to do a little research and let me know. But it's not a huge deal. I can just run the rubber line a little bit farther. I feel like it's short by like 2 foot. So I feel like I got sent a kit for non-extended cab, just for a regular cab, which would make sense on the shortness of it. I expressed that to them, and they told me I got what I ordered, but I don't really know if I did or not. If you suck at bending brake lines and fuel lines like me, I think this kit's worth it. Even though you might have to use a little extra rubber, I think it's definitely worth it, honestly. All right, stay tuned. We'll see what happens next. Small little update with the gas tank. I think I'm just going to cut it in half, or cut the top off. And my buddy agreed that he would TIG weld it back up for me. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And cut it in half, get it cleaned out the best I can, have him TIG weld it, and then I'll coat the inside and the outside. But I think that's the plan for now. Back out in the garage today, finally getting around to messing around with this gas tank a little more. I think I might have brought it up before, but it's still crusty in there. Yeah, you can't really see in there. And I had it boiled. They tried a couple of different times, and it's nasty inside there. So they don't remake these anymore. I don't want to retrofit something to fit in there. So I'm going to cut it in half and clean it out, and then I have it TIG welded back together, and then I'll coat the inside. The coating is actually the same as the primer that's on the frame. I got a line drawn all the way around the gas tank now. Now I'm just going to cut it in half. And hopefully I don't regret this decision. Finally. I don't know if this thing is just not working right, but something ain't right with it. Well, there she is. Bring you in, take a look. It's hard to see, but it was like, it's this stuff that would not come out. It's like tacky and nasty. It's better than it was, but it's still gross. So now that that's off, I think I could really get it cleaned up. I think that's just some of the rust from when they used the acid. If I think I come in here with a wire wheel or something, should be able to get this all cleaned up, get it all welded back together, and then I'll coat the inside and outside. Seems to be cleaning up pretty well. Let me bring you in here. It's better than it was. I got the rest of it to do, but I'll just do that off camera. Not bad. Well, I got the bottom half pretty much well cleaned up. I still got a wire wheel to do it with the drill. Came out better than it was. It's not perfect, but you can kind of see where there's etch marks from the paint varnish or gas varnish in there. Still got to do the top, but the top compared to the bottom is way better. Well, I haven't made much progress lately. I've been trying to figure out this wiring harness, and all the wiring harnesses I have are all hacked up. One has one good end on it, but broken halfway through it. It's got good ends on it, but it's trashed. The other one, it's got random splices, and it's already all electrical tape. Someone's already been through it, and it's all kind of hacked up too. Someone put LEDs on the rear, so they spliced everything together back there. But yeah, other than that, just kind of in a holding pattern until I can find a wiring harness.